Okay, so this week I have been battling between cinema and AE, and I'm sorry, um, Unreal Engine and Houdini. I found that going from cinema, especially if I take something into from Houdini into cinema, what seems to work, and the examples I've seen have been with Alembics. They'll get all the dynamics and all that in there. And I found the same thing with going from cinema to um, Unreal Engine. Although it's strange, it'll work. The dynamics will work if you push the button like you're playing. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm rebuilding all all the shaders and all. What I'm finding is I did get it to build. You have to install you have to install the Android Studio. I found I had to install Microsoft Visual Studio, the free version. Um, and I had to make sure I had the right framework. And this was kind of interesting. You can't just install the full framework. You have to install the core. And what happens is when you go to call that, it's going to say, I don't know what version I have. If you call it, I forget what the command is, and version, it'll say, I don't know. If it says I don't know, it's correct. If it says it's a particular version, that means you have the wrong thing. And it's not going to build. Actually, I'm trying to see if I can find it. One of the first things I had to do was actually copy, and I'm trying to see if I can find, um, let's see. I'm looking at what I have here in terms of what YouTube videos I've been listening to. But basically, you have to, the first thing I had to do was copy something. Um, the other important thing is, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but you have to make sure that you're using, let me see if I can show you the right version, and I may have covered this last week. This week seems to have been a bit of a treadmill, but I did get it to build. Now, of course, it's crashing immediately. I have not been able to solve that yet. App data, is it roaming? Or is it? Maybe it's. What I'm trying to do is rebuild everything in the Unreal Engine without. You can see it here. This directory. I'm hoping what that'll do is fix things. But there was let's see if I can find it. I think it was an engine. No, that's not it. Well, it is. I'm going to have to find that. But the version is I know. It's an Android tool. So it'd be under Android, SDK, platform tools. Not tools, but platform tools. And this is where all the stuff you need is. So be aware of that. What am I still fighting with? Well, for one thing, it was giving me errors that it couldn't find certain DLLs. So I'm hoping by rebuilding this, from what I've seen, it may or may not make a difference. The other thing I found is if you have a standard cinema scene, what I mean by standard is you create it in cinema and it just does regular animation. It'll just come right in. You don't have to do anything special. If you're using dynamics, and I've been watching a lot of videos from Jonathan Winbush. If you're interested in Unreal and cinema, he is the guy to follow. He's really, really good with that stuff. Knows it about as well as anybody. I don't know if there is anyone who knows it better than him. At any rate, this is odd. Well, we're at 94%, so maybe we can give something a shot here. Doesn't look very good yet, and notice this if you can see this sun. Now here's the thing with the cinema camera. Basically, there is a plug-in for their camera. So that's what? Where did it go? Should be in here. Oh no, it's Leah. I'm thinking. There we go. This is the camera that allows it to do the stereo. And if you go under, let's see, content, let's see, this is starter content. Somewhere in here is what? Somewhere along in here is you'll see in this, in the plugins, let's see if I can find them. Let's see. Odd. I'm missing something here. Anyway, normally I see when I look at content, well, I'm not, let's get rid of this here. And usually in here, when you look, you will see under content, this is the content we created for this level, but you should see, you're going to see once you set up that plugin, when you go in here, starter content, and of course I'm not seeing it, but maybe because this is, no. Here we go. This is the full content. So you're going to see, I think this is the full content. Let's see if I can find the plugins. Starter content. That's odd. Maybe because of the map I'm in. But you're going to see the plugins and you're going to drag this lunar camera pawn in. PAWN. So I don't know what is going on here, but I'm not seeing what I think I should. Anyway, so let me show you the build. And they go through all the settings and so forth. Um, so, and you should follow those pretty carefully. Now, the one thing that is different that I found is that in here, under Android, there's Android and Android SDK. This is where you're going to point to where your SDK, and you can see you need to have it point to a JDK, you need to have it point to the different SDK. Now this is interesting because I maybe need to point, just see something, because this may be something I need in Android Studio. Let's see, program files, let's see if I can find Android JDK. Oh, this is the same. Well, let's see if it likes that. Because this is now going to the Android. So, and it needs to be able to find all that stuff. So then you come up here and you say, I left it at this. What I am going to do is delete the one that's there now, because if we do not do that, we may have a bit of an issue. I'm going to get rid of, well, it looks like, alright, let's create a test game folder. And that's where we're going to put it. So here, Android, package content. See, and I don't know if this is legitimate or not, because it builds, but, and we got that, and now it's going to start. Originally when I got that error, it did not finish the build. And it starts up, and you can see it's just going through. And I am not optimistic that we're going to get something that's actually going to run, but we can try. And right now it doesn't look that good because I don't have the lighting right or anything like that. But the whole point is to get it running. Now, while this is doing, let me talk to you about this. If you look at the developer docs here, one thing is there is a very good alternative. Remember, you can use anything you render out, and Jonathan Winbush did a video on this where he basically rendered out the scene in UE. He did not use the plugin, he did not do any builds, and it came out great. So by putting it through that software that we looked at the other week, you can get your builds in there, and I mean, you can get your 3D in there without having to go through all the pain of trying to actually do a full build. Alternative, so you can render out in UE, you can render out in Cinema, but if you want to start with a stereo, they actually, and I have not tried this yet, I think I am, because this may, for what I'm trying to do, be considerably less painful than trying to fight with their plugin and the Android build and so forth. But they have a two-step rendering. They go through this. This is actually from Cinema's docs, I believe. So you can actually put a stereo camera in cinema. So they talk about go add a camera and you make it stereoscopic, you make it symmetrical, and it will. They go through all of their docs here. This is their docs, and it goes through details of the different things. So this is an example they give you. And what that would do is when you bring this up, you will be able to start with stereo content and not 2D content. That would get you a better result. Now, if I can get this thing to work here, and it's still going, we are going to have an even better result because it's going to be native 3D. But like I said, so far, all it does when I try to run it is basically crash immediately. So, like I said, I've got questions into Leia. I have questions on the Unreal. A question on the Unreal Discord. I've got it on the board. So I am trying to figure out, get information from anywhere I can of why I'm running into this. I even tried adding a plugin which seemed to correlate with some things I was complaining was missing, but from what I read somewhere else, by making it rebuild everything, which took some time, that may resolve the issue, where it can't find certain things. It was not finding certain DLLs that it should have. I have no idea why that's the case, but it is. And it takes a little bit while it's going, but that's in a sense good, because if it failed immediately, again, that means you, let's see what it's doing here. It's moving along a little slow. If I can make this a little bit bigger. So it's building textures. And it's telling me something. But at any rate, we will hopefully have something in a minute here. And you know what? I'm going to get back to you when this is built. Okay, so my build decided to die right before it should have ended. So it's getting kind of late, so I don't have time tonight to rebuild this, but I'm going to see if this thing will deploy while we're talking here. So the alternative, let me show you, I think, is to use, I did show you earlier, of course, is to use a camera in cinema or render out from here, which could also look pretty good. But I'm kind of bound and determined to get this puppy to finally compile. I don't know why that's the case, and it has not been working. But the other issue I'm working on is, one thing is I want to be able to take the dynamics out of Houdini with the animation baked in. Sometimes when you're moving between different programs, you can essentially build the animation into what you're bringing over. And now in the case of going from cinema, a normal cinema, let's say normal, where you're not trying to bring in Houdini stuff and some of the stuff been trying to do, just a standard cinema, and you bring it in, it will basically just come in really, really well. And let's see see if this is actually gonna go anywhere. Hard to say. No, it failed. Let me save this. I'm gonna battle with this some other time. But I did want to show you something before we finish out tonight. Let me see. Open project. Let's see if I can find it. It should be pretty obvious because it looked really, really good. And here it is. Now this is a cinema thing, and I'm using here a model that I had pulled in, and you can see the light is, I mean, you'd have to do stuff, but let me show you something here. You can, let's see, here it is. And notice here, in this case, since it was a standard animation, you just get your keyframes. And this I pulled in directly from cinema. That's it. I did not have to do anything funny or weird or special saves or nothing. So if you have a standard animation in cinema, it is going to work just fine. Look at that. So be aware of that. Where I'm running into issues is I took dynamics, so it's not keyframed, in Houdini. I brought it to and baked it out and saved it out and tried to bring it over. You can't really bake the keyframes, or at least I haven't figured out how to bake the keyframes in there. Consequently, you don't get this timeline. You get your animation, but it's kind of in there. It's not nice like this here. So if I can get, I mean, I know at some point I'm going to get this silly thing working. And I'm definitely going to go over it because it just, again, has proven to be a rather painful thing. Depending on where I am next week, what I want to do is either be able to show you, look, I got it, it works, or let's try our plan B here and see what we can get by doing stereo out of cinema. And you know, eventually, I mean, this should work. And it's just a matter of figuring out what the heck is going on here. So anyway, hopefully this has been interesting. I was hoping to bring you a success and be able to talk about that. But, you know, sometimes these things, especially remember, bleeding edge here, it's a little trickier than one would hope. So thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.